Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, and today I thought I would bring you something unusual. I don't normally talk about Star Wars or do explained videos on Star Wars, but one thing which seemingly has caught a lot of people by surprise and off guard is the Dark Saber. Now, obviously for spoilers, I'm not going to explain why this particular weapon or blade or lightsaber has actually rose to prominence in the last few days. You'll have to figure that out for yourself, but if you know, you know. So today I thought I would explain and explore the Dark Saber. The Dark Saber was an ancient and unique black-bladed lightsaber created by Tar Vizsla, the first Mandalorian ever to be inducted into the Jedi Order. The weapon itself was kept in the Jedi Temple after Vizsla's passing. However, members of House Vizsla stole the saber in a conflict with the Jedi Order during the fall of the Old Republic. Now, the Darksaber itself would then be passed down, generation to generation, by the ancestors of Pre-Vizsla, who held on to the weapon, and even after the pacifist ideals of the new Mandalorians replaced the warrior ways of Mandalore. However, by 21 BBY, the Darksaber was then in possession of Pre-Vizsla, the leader of the Death Watch and House Vizsla during the Clone Wars. He would use the blade during these conflicts with the new Mandalorians, including his successful takeover of Mandalore. Now, after the coup, Darth Maul would kill Vizsla, and he took the Darksaber as his own, becoming the leader of the Death Watch. Maul's old master, Darth Sidious, would soon arrive on Mandalore to confront his former apprentice, and Maul then used the Darksaber against him. Maul was bested in combat, taken prisoner, and held at separatist prisons, the Spire, on Stygeon Prime. Maul was then soon rescued from the Spire at the behest of Prime Minister Almec, whom Maul had chosen as the public leader of Mandalore. After being freed, Maul returned to Zanbar, the location of a Death Watch camp, and was given back the Darksaber, which had then been recovered from the Sundari Royal Palace, the site of Maul's duel with Sidious. Now, shortly after his return, Zanbar was then attacked by the separatist droid army, led by none other than General Grievous, the fan favourite half-alien, half-robot, and Maul made use of the Darksaber against the cyborg general. Maul continued to use the Darksaber in several subsequent battles, such as the Battle of Ord Mantell and the assault on Vizsla Keep 9, and the second battle of Dathomir. During the Age of the Empire, the Mandalorian weapons expert and rebel Sabine Wren retrieved the Darksaber from the Night Sister lair on Dathomir, where it had sat. At the urging of Fen Rao and her fellow Spectres, Sabine agreed to undergo training with the Darksaber under the tutelage of the Jedi Knight Kanan Jarrus. And later, Sabine brought the Darksaber with her and her rebel companions during a mission to Crownest, to seek her family's support for the rebellion. Sabine became the rightful wielder of the Darksaber after defeating Viceroy Gar Saxon in a duel. After rescuing her father from Imperial custody and destroying the superweapon which she had built while an Imperial cadet, Sabine gave the Darksaber over to Bo-Katan Kryze, whom she deemed to be the rightful person to lead the Mandalorians against the Empire. By 9 ABY, the weapon fell into the hands of Moff Gideon, a leader of an Imperial remnant on Nevarro. Now, the Darksaber itself is an ancient black-bladed lightsaber. It is incredibly unique and it is incredibly powerful. It had a unique blade that was shorter than that of most lightsabers, and it had a completely different aesthetic. This blade itself was shaped like a traditional sword. Even its hilt was shaped like a traditional sword. Its overall profile was distinctly Mandalorian, with an angular pommel, handguard, and slit-shaped blade emitter. The sound emitted by its blade was also higher pitched than other lightsabers. The Darksaber had a crystal which served as a conduit for Force energy. The wielder's thoughts and actions guided the blade's current of power, with the blade often producing an electrical effect in response to a heightened emotional state. The Darksaber itself was also capable of parrying lightsaber blades, with them being drawn to each other in an almost magnetic pull. The Darksaber blade was a respected symbol amongst Mandalorians. It was the leadership of House Vizsla and later the Death Watch which pushed this blade into near mythic status. And according to Mandalorian custom, one could only obtain the Darksaber by defeating the previous owner in combat. Should they have claimed it any other way, their claim was considered illegitimate. Now obviously, without going into further detail, I can't really explain as to why this blade has rose to prominence. However, it featured something somewhere and has now pushed everyone's minds utterly crazy at the prospect of what is to come and what this means for the Star Wars universe moving forwards. It's something which I don't think anyone really thought they were going to be seeing again, especially not in the way that we saw it, or at the very least in the type of medium that we had seen the blade. Now I will say this, from its depiction, they managed to get it bang on. I don't think anyone can be really disappointed with the blade and its new appearance. I think they managed to get it down pat. It is very, very well done, very canonically focused, and I think it really does sing to the creators knowing exactly what they are doing. Now obviously there are probably bits and pieces which I have missed, and there are further details in Legends. However, focusing just on canon, you can see exactly why the Darksaber rose to such prominence amongst the Mandalorians. It was created by the very first Mandalorian to ever be inducted into the Jedi Order. And then obviously since then, since being liberated from the Jedi Temple, again, before a massive event in the Star Wars universe, the fall of the Old Republic, it was then retained as a symbol of power and passed down as an heirloom from generation to generation. And, you know, as we have heard quite prominently in The Mandalorian, this is the way. So it is a massive part of Mandalorian history. And I will say this, I think what I'm most excited about is what this means for the future of the Star Wars universe. Now, I myself am a semi-fan of the Star Wars franchise on a whole. I really love the original films. I think that the prequels are okay, and the newer films I am not so hot on at all. But the expanded media, the media where people and creatives have been allowed to just set their mind free and just run wild, is really the highlight to the Star Wars universe. And the Darksaber itself is from that expanded universe. It is from those minds, those creatives that have been allowed freedom. So I wonder if the inclusion of this means that moving forwards, we're going to get some more, maybe some fan favorites, some new creations, just some fresh ideas in the Star Wars universe. And in the medium that this was established and well, brought back into the highlight recently, I cannot wait to see what they do with it, because it really, really was great. And it just established a potential great narrative moving forwards. So anyway, guys, what did you think of the Darksaber? Is there anything specific that I missed? Please do let me know down below in the comments section. I'd love to hear your thoughts on this weapon, what you think it means moving forwards for the Star Wars universe, and what it is that you think we're going to be seeing moving forwards. I'd love to hear any and all thoughts. For my personal thoughts, I think it's fairly obvious where and how the person who has this Darksaber acquired the Darksaber. I don't think it's too much of a stretch to guess exactly how this person acquired it. It was obviously after the Great Purge. It wasn't liberated in Mandalorian custom. I think it was quite literally just stolen. So anyway, there's my thoughts, and there's the rundown of the Darksaber. As always, guys, I've been Mr. H. Take care.